Hey everybody, Fat Bass Podcast coming at you. We've got Kyle Uptegrove on today. Joe, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Just
back to work like normal people.
Yeah, it's a Monday. We normally do these on Tuesdays.
It is a Monday.
So. Kyle, how about you, man? How are you doing?
Good. We just got wrapped up with a Heartland Team Trail on Lake the Ozarks out of Shawnee Bend. Outside of that, really well. We had some flooding weather yesterday. Yeah, good. All around good.
Yeah. I've heard that Lake of the Ozarks could use that.
Lake was a little low, but I'm assuming Truman will probably come up faster than anything from what I've seen totals on rainfall around Kansas City area. So I'm sure Lake the Ozarks will be followed up right behind that.
Yeah. Is that where you fished? That was the Truman or the Lake of the Ozarks?
We were at Lake the Ozarks out of Shawnee Bend. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, tell us about yourself, Kyle. What give us a little bit of background.
Sure. I graduated from Oak Park High School up here in Kansas City area. I started fishing right out of high school. One of the trails I started fishing, ironically, was Heartland. I went on and fished Heartland because Ralph Haggard's son, Kim Haggard, played baseball with my older brother. We became friends, and we fished out of the St. Joe Bass Club. And outside of fishing side, I was a parts guy. For 17 years, I started out with O'Reilly Auto Parts out of high school, and then I went into International Big Trucks, and I stayed there for a long time. And then I worked part-time at Bass Pro, and the GM of Bass Pro and Independence said, you know what, Kyle, you should be an outside sales rep in hunting and fishing. And I thought, what? There ain't no such thing. So lo and behold, I made one phone call, and I ended up as a bow rep for Martin Bows with the company out of Ohio for quite a while. And then for the past 5 years, I've actually started out with called Heartland Outdoor Group with intentions of starting Heartland Team Trail then. So Heartland Outdoor Group is my rep group that I've got the pleasure of representing people like Bait Cave, GSM Outdoors, Picasso, so on and so forth. So I'm actually the manufacturer rep for that, and I cover the 4 states of Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska.
Do you jump around to like tackle stores type of deal?
Do. So my job is to walk into people like Rogers Sporting Goods and Everhart's, Fitz Bait and Tackle, Ozark Bait and Tackle, so on and so forth, and Extreme Outdoors down there at Table Rock. And I go in there and I talk about new products. You know, ironically, I'm on my table. There's always jigs and things like that. Just I walk around and I come in and talk to them a little bit. I give them information like, hey, we got this new worm coming out, or we got this new spinnerbait, or we got this, so on and so forth. And that's my job. I also work on the hunting side, I work for Dart and Bows and Black Eagle Arrows, and that's where the bigger part of my rep side comes from, is those side. The hunting side is big.
Can you get any discounts with Sitka?
No. I mean,
Click.
Sitka's good about giving out discount codes a lot online, but no, I don't have that backside, unfortunately.
I'm in the duck hunting world, so Sitka. Well, my son, if it's got Sitka underwear, he would buy it for $1 million.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of friends like that, and a couple of my close friends work for Rogers Sporting Goods up here, and they're huge Sitka people. So yep.
Yeah. Well, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like you're not really a sick. You're like the normal people that don't need camo like that.
It's going to go with my Realtree or Mossy Oak, and I'm kind of staying in that realm because
You're a real hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, I sold a lot of the less expensive camo throughout my day, and we always think and laugh about our grandparents that went out there and they wouldn't wear camo, they wore jeans and a flannel shirt and killed giants, and heck, I don't know that we probably overthink it, but we also have fun with it. So
yeah. Any rain gear?
Do we really need all the colors that we buy? But no. As fishermen, we got to have it.
Any rain gear? Do you sell any type of rain gear?
No, not at the moment. Okay. I used to work for Habit years ago, and they sponsored my trail because I had a close relationship with those guys down there. But Habit's got a really nice rain suit. Under Armour's got a nice suit, and so does Hook, of course.
Okay. Oh, very interesting.
Nice.
Well, go ahead.
Well, you've been running the Heartland Trail for how long now?
So this is our 3rd year coming in.
Okay.
We started 2 years ago. It's kind of a quick, funny story. Like I told you a minute ago, the inception was going to come 4 years ago, I guess 5 years now, and another trail reached out to me about purchasing their trail. At the time, I said yeah, so I went to actually be a tournament director for them for a couple of years. And after a year and a half, he decided that he was going to keep it. So I finished out the year, and then I came out with Heartland Trails because, like I said, initially that's what we were going to do. That's how part of my rep group was called Heartland. So I was just kind of grouping it all together. Heartland Trails are going to be under my Heartland Outdoor group.
Well, we looked it up, and the average tournament director makes $100,000 a year.
Yeah. When you pay out 90% like we do. Yeah, I would love to say that was true.
We were in that world, as you know, and
Absolutely.
A lot of freebies and giveaway time, to try to make it big. Did you talk to I used to fish the Pro-Am, the Heartland Pro-Am back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a reigning champion and 8-time all Angler of the Year. I mean, pretty well known in the world right now. But
yeah, you can virtually smell the BS, can't you, Kyle? Yeah.
But it was cool. I was back in the day when I remember it was Heartland and the Central. Like those were
the two big competing trails. Was Heartland Pro-Am, Heartland Elites, and then so Ralph started out with the Heartland Team Trail on Saturdays and the Heartland Elites or Heartland Pro-Am on Sunday, and then eventually it turned into the Heartland Elites.
Yeah.
And he had all three trails running. That was on a separate weekend. So
how's Ralph? I'm assuming you know Ralph.
Yeah, I know Ralph real well. In fact, I talked to him last year on a let's see, it was about mid-year last year because he was as we talked about, he had a similar idea to what you guys had, and that's what we ran with. So little backstory on that side too. I forgot to mention that I do have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'm 46 years old. So met my wife when I was 37 or 38, something like that. And we both decided neither of us had kids, and it was probably due time.
Yeah, that's fun times, but you got a long road. But that's cool. Does your wife like fishing? Like, is she?
She does. So she'll go crappie fishing and bass fishing with me a little bit, but she is more of a let's just play a little bit.
Yeah. So. Reading books and suntan.
Yeah, like most wives.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is always telling me, "Man, I'd love it if we could just go catch some fish." It's like, yeah, me too. So.
Yeah. You guys make it sound so easy to do that right now. So.
Yeah.
Well, what? So how did you go to Ralph and go? Hey, man, I'm I want to do this tournament. I want to name it Heartland. Like, I'm assuming, how did that all progress?
When I approached Ralph 5 years ago, I went over to his house there close to Platte City, and I walked in. I said, "Hey, I have this idea. Are you okay with that?" Ralph was very open. He's like, "Absolutely." He goes, I had wished back in the day I had sold it or we had done something different instead of just shutting it down. Bonnie and Ralph and I talked quite a while, and they gave me some ins and outs on the Pro-Ams, which are very tough because obviously just like the BFLs, you're fighting to find amateurs or pros at each tournament. He's like, "Think about it, Kyle. I asked you to fish how many tournaments?" Because I was there helping Ralph a lot, and they'd say, "Hey, can you go be an amateur on this one, or can you be a pro on this one?" And then I would absolutely fill in, but it was definitely a challenge there. So stick with the elites and the pro or the team trail for a while, and we were going to come out with a Pro-Am on the 9th of May, but the interest has been kind of low, so we're going to back off for now. And then we're going to come back and visit that next year where we can put some more time and effort into it.
What do you think the reason is that? Because, back Central and Heartland, maybe because there was only 2. I mean, that's what I know of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where everybody congregated to, but now there's 800 in a weekend. Is that?
Well, and I think that's the big difference. There's so much competition, and there's so many tournament trails out there now, as opposed to when Ralph and Bonnie had Heartland. You had Heartland, you had Central Pro-Am, as you alluded to. But as you think back, there was a ton of clubs, but there really wasn't as many great circuits as we have right now. I mean, you got Anglers in Action, you have Joe Bass, you have, of course, OMTT. And the list keeps just getting bigger and bigger. I mean, there's a lot of what I would consider us the small to medium-sized guys, like myself and Just Fish and, FX and so on and so forth. So I think we kind of fall in that same mix, but there's so many trails out there right now, and I think that's where the as you said, I think that's the difference. When Pro-Ams were big, We didn't have the electronics to fight. We didn't have. There's a lot of the things that go into it, but you only had 2 big circuits really.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys got now Bassmaster incentive, so is that only on the team side?
Well, we are very, very, very fortunate. So Strike King is a good partner of ours. The rep also fishes our trail. That's the advantage of my background of my job, is I know most of those guys pretty well. The rep from Strike King who fishes my trail, he got me hooked up with them for the last 2 years. They came to me at the beginning of the year and said, hey, would you like to help facilitate a tournament for us on Table Rock Lake? I said, absolutely. Heartland is going to facilitate for them, which they call the Strike King Road to the Opens. With us running that Strike King Road to the Opens for them, they gave us 3 spots to give out to our elite side. So not only does our team trail guys get to go fish the Bassmasters Team Championship, which is on Grand Lake this year, now we have 3 guys that will get to compete for the Bassmasters Opens on the Strike King Road to the Opens, which is a phenomenal opportunity on both sides. So we do get to send guys through the Bass side on both sides.
Wow.
The
And
top,
we're the
top 3.
only trail that has that to them outside of going through Strike King's digital program or their Big Bass Challenge that they have.
So talk to me about that a little bit more. So that this is the first I'm hearing of it. Of course, I could be, bad on the news side of things, but explain that a little bit more. Do they get their entry fees paid for, or like what does that look like?
Strike King, the champion of the Strike King Road to the Opens gets their full entry paid into the Bassmaster Opens the next year. Whoever walks out of theirs, that's probably about a $55,000 grand prize.
Dang.
So they get all the fees. That's a guaranteed spot. Everything is done, and that's on both sides of the Opens there. So that's a big deal. And then that also includes if they make it to the, what do they call that? After it's the Opens, is it the EQ part, or how's that? I can't remember.
I thought it was the EQ.
And that might be right. So if you make it to the next stage of the Open, it does cover that as well.
So if I'm in the top 3 in the Heartland Elite this year, I go to
The
Strike King
The Strike King Road to the Opens. That's right.
Rodeo, which is on Grand.
Nope. Strike King Road to the Opens on Table Rock.
Okay, it's on Table Rock. So you got to win that, I guess, and then go to the.
If you win that, you're going to the Opens.
Dang, and your entry paid for.
That's insane.
Wow. So do you know who your top 3 right now are? Just putting you on the spot, but.
Yeah, so Wyatt Marler, which is obviously tough on Table Rock Lake as number 1.
Pretty good.
So here's the advantage of guys that are listening to this. We are only 1 tournament in on our elites, and we take our best out of 3 out of 4. So there is still time. We have our next elite on May 30th out of Pomme de Terre. But right now you have Wyatt Marler in first. Chris Hunter, I think, is in third, and I'm trying to think who's in second off the top of my head. You definitely got me on the spot there.
Don't say Greg Hauser.
No, Greg, I think, ended up 5th in that tournament, if I remember correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it all mixes together anymore because you're gone so much.
Yeah, I know Greg pretty well.
Second was Chris Martin. Third was actually Ryan Melcher. Ryan actually travels from Colorado every tournament of ours to fish with us, so it's pretty.
I know the name Wyatt Marler's known.
Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
We've heard him. How old is he?
Wyatt's got to be just 24, 25.
Yeah, okay. I knew he was young.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's a stud, though. And he's not just a stud on Table Rock. He catches them everywhere. In fact, I think I saw over the weekend he ended up top 25 at Bassmaster Opens down at Grand Lakes.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty known. I think he kicked me and Keegan's butt on Palmy.
Sure. He's that's why I was getting ready to say he's so good at Table Rock, Pomme de Terre, Stockton. I mean, all our Ozark lakes. So he's a good angler.
Do you think? I mean, I feel probably a lot of guys don't know that, because we're all going to talk boat counts and everything like that. But how do you draw these guys? Like that's huge because whenever me and Pierce were in the solo pro series, trying to boost that up. We tried to get the incentive of, well, why don't you just take one guy out of a 100-boat field
I would have given
to go to Bassmaster.
I would have given my left testicle for that.
Well, and
that is amazing.
That's pretty unique.
Yeah, so we're beyond blessed, and it has shown the numbers are starting to increase on us, like having the Bassmasters team deal, having the Strike King Road to Opens deal, and then I throw in, from a Heartland standpoint, I throw in something very, very, very unique. So we take the top three AOY guys from both sides, the team side and the elite side, and we, like last year, we put them on a lake. I wouldn't tell them where we're going. I said it's a small lake, it's under 1,000 acres. It's, 3 boats, then 3 boats. So there's 6 boats, and we're going to go and we're going to fish. So I called them all, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and told them it was Indian Creek Reservoir at Chillicothe. And they were like, where? And I was like, that's exactly why we're going. So we went up there, but the winner on each side of that is actually going to ICAST with me. So now
That's pretty cool.
so not only do I got, the Bassmasters Road to the Opens, on the Strike King Road to the Opens, the Bassmaster Team Trail Championship, and we send a guy to the ICAST with me. So
When's that tournament?
we do that in September.
Okay, after the season's over.
Yep, after the season. So we take those guys, but we're taking our guys that won ICAST this year will go with me in July. So
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, things like that, that's what we need to get out to a lot of these guys because, I mean, especially now, you're only one tournament in. And,
yeah, so everybody still has time. So they'll see this year in July, you'll see Greg Profit from the elite side, and William Mooring and Tom Terrell won, but I think William has to stay back because of a conflict with a family deal going on that same weekend of vacation. So Tom's going to come, but we'll have some live interviews and podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff while we're down there, just so those guys can see this is an incentive that very few people, unless you're a buyer at a store or a manufacturer, actually get to walk in and see. And I mean, you might be at a table and shoot, people just walk up and talk to you.
Well, do a lot of pros go to the ICAST?
Well, that's what I meant. I should have said that clearer. Like I was with a buyer once, talking about a G-Buzz, which is a buzz bait from Buckeye Lures. And Gerald Swindle built it. And I'm sitting there talking, and Gerald walks up and says, "You're telling the story wrong." So he took over it. So you're going to be in there with all these tour pros talking about these lures and products. And I mean, you might be standing next to Kevin Van Dam, you might be standing next to Mike Iaconelli, but it makes it unique because you're in a spot that they feel safe. They're not getting bombarded by fans, so they just walk around and talk to everybody. And it's a really, really awesome experience.
Now, do you go on there on half of your business?
On the rep side, yep.
Yeah, on the rep side, yeah,
Yep.
got it.
Yep. I'll be down there with Heartland Outdoor Group, which is my rep group. I'll be down there with GSM and Bait Cave and K9 Fishing Line and some of the other lines that I have, Picasso. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, the ICAST was definitely on a bucket list of mine. I was in lure manufacturing for a stint, and
Yeah.
that was definitely one that ICAST was like, we really wanted to go to that all the time.
It's a great place to see all the new stuff. My favorite ICAST story is I flew down there the day that they were getting ready to release Live Scope, and I was on the plane. The guy looked at me and says, "You must be going to ICAST," because I had on some hook shorts or Mercury shirt or something. I don't know. I said, "Yeah, I'm heading down there." And I told him what I did for repping, and he said, "Well, you got to come by the booth." And he's trying to tell me about it while we're on the plane, and I'm like, "You're telling me this thing's live?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And he told me how one of the engineers came up with it, and it had to do with a sonogram. And I'm like, "Ain't that some shit? That's the truth." Like I get it now. And he kind of went through everything, and here we are in this world of forward facing after that. But it was just that's those things you get to see at ICAST.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're tournament director, so you got to be careful. But are you 50-50 with it?
With forward facing, honestly, it's that same thought process that probably went through everybody's mind with an A-rig. Like, we allow the A-rig for our tournaments. Does it catch fish? Absolutely. Does forward facing help you catch fish? Absolutely. Does it make you win? No, but I think it helps. It's a tool. I mean, coming from an automotive background, if you don't have the right tool, it's going to take you forever to do the same job. So
True.
I don't necessarily say I love it, but I don't hate it. If once we get to the point of seeing how NPFL really handles this, I think that's what's going to be the precedence is what NPFL does and moves us forward. Then, as we see Bassmasters is already doing a change, But I think it's going to have to come down from a state regulation before we're going to see very many
Yeah.
changes.
Really?
It's too hard to, in my opinion, it's kind of hard to say to a guy, hey, you got $3,000 worth of equipment on there that you can't use. And will that hinder more people from fishing, or will that make them want to fish you more? I don't know. I mean, we've obviously got a trail in our state called Pure Fishing that has tried that out, and we haven't seen their numbers pop just yet. So I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing right now. It's a slippery slope to go up either way.
I always get mad because if you allow forward-facing sonar, but you don't allow the A-rig, gosh dang, that pisses me off.
Sure.
I'm like, well, just bring back the A-rig then, because I don't. It's the same now.
It really, and that's why I said that from the get-go. We allow the A-rig, so how can you not? Like, it's
Yeah, or if some of them, allowed forward-facing sonar, but you can't have an A-rig. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I could see if you didn't have the sonar, then people were banning the A-rig because that technology wasn't there yet. Well, now it doesn't make any sense to me if you do that. But
well, heck, those guys are so proficient. I mean, you look at Drew Gill. He isn't throwing an A-rig. He's going to throw a little minnow because he's hitting one specific fish anymore. But those guys spend a lot of time doing that. So,
well, I do have a question for you on the tackle side of things. I just listened to Randy Blockett on Bass Talk Live. I don't know if you've listened to it. It's worth a listen, but I listened to about an hour and a half of him talking about forward-facing sonar, the impacts of the industry, this and that. One thing that he brought up that I had not thought about before were tackle sales.
I will tell you this, it makes it struggle. You could go hero to zero, and I can use some of the prime examples of products that I rep for. So Drew Gill came out with the Spotlight minnow and Big Bite baits. He won first event this year. We couldn't keep them in stock. But the same also said for Yamamoto unis or the koiks. I mean, you can say, I think it definitely hurts because you're not seeing crankbait sales like we used to. We're not seeing jig sales like we used to. We're not seeing even some of the soft plastics. Like, you don't think about how things have changed. As you guys talked about fishing Central Pro-Am and Heartland Pro-Am, back in the day, you heard guys throwing Carolina rigs with 10-inch worms. When's the last time you heard a guy say, I'm getting a 10-inch worm out and running it down the side of a tree? Like, it just doesn't happen as much anymore. Like, it definitely has changed tackle sales. To say it doesn't hurt it, I'd be lying, just because I see the actual numbers on my side of being in the sales rep side.
You ever see tournaments doing like what the big guys do? Tournament 1 through 3, you can use it. 4 through 6, you can't, or something like that. You see going down the local.
I think it's helped Bassmasters. I will say that. I do think it's helped viewership from Bassmasters. I would be open to seeing something like that. Like in our schedule right now, we have 4 tournaments where 2 were okay and 2 weren't. I don't think that would ever cross my mind as a negative. But it also, we're selling as tournament directors, and you guys know this from working with Solo Pro, we're selling something that most people are selling, so you have to make sure it's appealing to the consumer, and the consumer being the angler. So I don't know. I would like to see it that way. I mean, that would be fun, just to see who prevails and who doesn't.
To have like a split, like Big Rock, Palmy you can't, or something like that.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. On the local level, it does seem to be more of a battle. If you go one direction or not, like you said, you may lose boats. I mean, I've heard guys, if you don't have it, we're not coming. I've heard we've heard it to the point of, if you let Ken Van Dam fish your tournament, we're not coming.
Sure,
we've heard it to every level, every angler. It's funny. I respect them all, but man, they've got 100 different opinions, and you should do this, should do that, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. But
as on the director side, and you guys know this from working with Solo Pro, there's a lot of opinions on what a person should and should not do, and it's tough because you as a director, you want to listen to everything, and I do. I like listening because there's obviously things I'm not the greatest at. I'm not. I've been around a while, but I haven't. There's obviously ideas that are out there that are floated around, and you want to listen in case there's something that should happen. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of them out there, lots of opinions, and I don't answer your question. I don't know if it's good or bad. I think that in the future, if NPFL really does what they're doing, I think the future will hold big tournaments will eliminate them. I don't know how it's going to trickle down from that aspect, though.
You think the NPFL, some of the bigger tournaments, will eliminate them?
I do.
Really?
I do.
What are they doing? Just because they're not running the forward facing sonar?
I think they're going to. I think, and this is again my opinion on it. I think they're going to get rid of them because viewership is down. Watching, because nobody wants to watch a guy just staring at a screen, and they like guys power fishing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that some of the manufacturers on the lure side, as you guys brought up, have pushed on some of these bigger trails. Hey guys, we're losing crankbait sales. We're losing all these regular lure sales to just minnows and jig heads. And as you guys brought up, and not thinking about that, but that's a huge part of the fishing market is the sales of it. And if you're, let's just say, a big company that comes in, and whether it's a Berkeley or a, Pure Fishing, whatever, GSM or whatever, and you guys cut down to a third of your sales because of forward facing, well, now your sponsorship dollars are gone.
Oh, right.
You can't be like, there has to be some pressure on some of these guys coming forward. And I think it is. I do believe that some of these manufacturers are going to lean on them. Whether it's a Rather Outdoors, Strike King, GSM, Pure Fishing. Those are the guys that are going to have to really pressure these guys a little bit to make a change. And I think what NPFL did was open eyes when they did that. And I think Bassmaster saw that. I think MLF saw that, obviously doing that with the BFLs, the Toyota series, and so on and so forth. And I think that it's there, not to get down too much of this rabbit hole of forward facing, but I think that there are changes on the horizon.
Gotcha.
And I think on the state level, I think there most likely is going to be some changes on the horizon, because people said, "Oh, you really think so?" I said, "Well, look at Arizona. Arizona outlawed cell phone cameras for hunting." And everybody's like, "How could they do that?" Well, that's because people were putting them on water holes and knowing, okay, there's elk coming in. Now I can rush down and hunt that area. Granted, we have them here in Missouri, obviously, but Arizona was the first state to eliminate the use of cell phone cameras.
Well, I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to put GoPros, a bunch in the lake, watch it on my phone, and if I see bass in GoPro number 1, I'm going to that spot. That's the new forward-facing sonar. I got like a deer camera.
Yeah.
We're going to call it a bass camera.
Yeah. I mean,
you could be onto something, as much as I hate to sound that way, but you could exactly be onto something.
You can put little, what do they have in the ocean, those big anchor or bobber things in there with the GoPro hanging down.
Yeah.
And I can put scent out now, because, deer, I can put corn out.
Not in the state of Missouri. Nobody listened to that on the state of Missouri.
Well, maybe not in the state of Missouri, but you can put food plots out.
Yeah, you can put food plots.
So that's what I'm going to call it, a bass plot.
That's a lot more work, though.
A bass food plot.
Well, okay, so I mean, is that any different than going out and sinking a couple of brush piles?
It's not. It's building the food plot's the same as sinking brush piles.
That's what I'm thinking.
But now I got cameras everywhere.
That's true.
Now I can just run to my camera spots.
But that's what happened in Arizona, and I think there's things that could happen state-wise that eventually would change things. And if it does happen that way, if they do that, I think then we will see a difference in how forward-facing is used in tournaments. But as of right now, like, I don't really care one way or another. If it's just like we talked about, I'm coming from the automotive world. It's just another tool in a chest, and A-rigs have been around forever, and the talk of them, outside of a few trails not letting you use them, the talk of that's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Well, I think you brought up a really good point of the trickle-down effect, because we talked about this the last time I really remember it being big was when MLF came out with the BPT.
Yep.
Everybody was concerned about the trickle down, but to your point, the local tournaments, you're not putting out you're not doing Bassmaster Live to where, somebody like me, I will say I do not enjoy watching somebody shake a minnow in the screen. I really don't. But, so like an NPFL, I would rather watch that if they're going to power fish, throw a spinnerbait, flip a little bit, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you bring up a really good point you don't really have that aspect on the local level. So when will that move down if it ever does?
I think that it only if it ever does, I think it's going to have to come from a state side. Unless unless we all as directors and somewhat start seeing that these guys are backing up and saying, hey, I don't want to fish your trail because I'm losing to forward facing. I don't know that. And I don't, talking to a ton of anglers from both elite side, Heartland side, I living to fish up here on Smithville Lake on Thursday nights, and nobody is ever really saying I'm losing to forward facing. They're just saying I got to figure it out. Just like we talked about with tools, I got to figure out how to use this. I got to figure out how to do that. In fairness, the only thing that really separates like a pro angler from a regular guy is time and money. Like, unfortunately, not all of us have the time in the world to go do this, or we could all be really good, or the money to do that.
Yeah. Does Heartland Trails have a tournament on Smithville?
Not this year. This year we just stayed with the 4 and 4.
Okay.
We didn't do a last chance. Last year we did do a last chance, but this year we decided just to see what the kind of numbers, if that put more dedication towards our 4 and 4. So next year there's a chance that we'll be back on it next year.
And I knew back in the day they always used to go to the Smithville. I think they had a championship.
Heartland did. Yep. Yeah. Ralph did. And that had from him living up here in Platte City, so it helped a little bit on that side. So, but I mean, to be back on that side, Smithville is hammering it. Tom also got a 31-pound bag a couple weeks ago.
What?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't know how big. I've only fished it once, but I didn't know if they produce very big up there. I know it's small lake. Is it about the size of Palmy?
About the same size as Palm de Terre. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tom also on the Living to Fish 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago ended up with, or 2 weeks, I don't remember what it was, but he ended up with almost 31 pounds.
Gosh, dang.
Yeah, It was a big bag. And then, like 2 weeks ago, another tournament they had, if you didn't have 20 pounds, you didn't even get a check.
I did not know it produced that.
That's crazy.
That is.
It's got some, and I've said it, I would put Smithville against any lake in the state of Missouri for about 4 weeks. That's it. 4 weeks of the year. That lake is phenomenal. After that, those fish hide somewhere that you cannot find them. And
during the spawn?
What's that?
During the spawn?
Yes. And I'd say spawn, late March to April 1st is phenomenal. And I mean phenomenal. Well, we fished Thursday and we had a 7-pound fish.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that would have won you $500.
That's right.
Yeah, I know.
You're in the lead right now, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I teased Anthony about that because he's the one that caught it in my boat. That's part of what that is. That lake is phenomenal. It's on fire.
But you may go back there next year, maybe?
I do believe we are going to go back up there next year.
Oh, the only thing we ran into with running that tournament was, you get anglers like Bull Shoals. Yeah, want to go. You go to Bull Shoals, your numbers go boop.
Absolutely do.
It's like, well, you guys said you wanted to go.
Yeah, everybody wants to go to Bull Shoals, but then
it'd be the same with Smithville. Yeah, you guys.
Smithville would only be a last chance for me and not a regular season because you're right. Nobody wants to come to Smithville. Nobody wants to go to Bull Shoals. Nobody really. I would say there's a couple other lakes, Thomas Hill, things like that. The guys just don't want to go to. I mean, Mark Twain obviously has been a good one. That's on my radar for future because guys like FX have done a great job up there. Joe Bass has done a great job up there for years. But that's not. You look at the lakes. That's not getting pounded. Have tournament trails that really hit that.
Well, what about Wapapella? Is it just so far?
It's so far and so I've got a couple shops down there in Poplar Bluff, and they're just outside of getting out of Poplar Bluff. There's really nothing there, so it's just, and that's a shallow lake. It doesn't fish well. Talking to some of those guys down there, it's not the best of lakes in the state.
Interesting. Well, how can they get a hold of you?
So easy way, they can always look on my website, which is httrails.com, or you go Facebook, Heartland Trails under Facebook. Of course, it's got my number and email. They can reach out anytime. And of course, we want to continue to partner with you guys at Fat Bass Challenge because we want to grow that, and I want to help promote you guys into that side. This isn't a one-way street. This is a two-way street for me. So we want to make sure that we help promote you guys into that side.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we talked a little bit. We'll probably talk offline a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited for what you're doing, especially the history of the Heartland.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most synonymous outside of Central Pro-Am and Heartland. Those are the two synonymous names from our back history in the state.
I think a lot of people knew that you'd start seeing more people,
Yeah.
attend and come to your tournament, especially with the incentive stuff. That's
Huge.
Yeah, that's humongous.
The hardest part is getting information out there. I've got guys that reach out to me every week that are always like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a trail," or "I didn't know this was back," or "I didn't know." And as you guys know, because of doing this for so long on the solo pro side, information is the hardest thing to get to people, and getting out the things that we try to promote for the guys, between the Bassmasters team championship, the Road to the Opens, the obviously the ICAST deal like we just talked about a few minutes ago. Those are the things that guys finally, they're like, "Oh shoot, I wish I'd have known that. I would have fished this year." And then it's getting them to remember that when they look at their schedule for the next year. But we've continued to grow the last 3 years, and our last tournament we had a good number. We pay out a pretty high payout. 33 boats. Guys walked away with $23 or $400, whatever it was, for first place. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And you'd think in the digital world now, it wouldn't be hard to get the information out, but I think there's just so much.
there is.
You know how many times you do this on Facebook? You don't really search anymore. You just hope it pops up in your face.
Yeah, and even I did a few sponsored ads. Even the sponsored ads are the things that it didn't really turn as much return as I would have thought.
Really?
It did okay, but it didn't do as good as I thought. Honestly, the best thing that I've seen so far, we'll use Wyatt Marler as an example. Wyatt won our Elite down there on Table Rock. He posted, fished Heartland Trails. He had a picture of our actual trophies and everything like that, and we ended up gaining 60 followers, and several guys reached out about fishing the event down at Palm de Terre.
Probably because he has a big following, and
It does. That helps. Those are the way that we hope to get the word out that, hey, we're here and we're not going anywhere. We've got, we don't. Luckily, I have a good job where this isn't where I'm making my money. This is why we have such a high payout. So
we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine. So yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Is we get the information out about Heartland and Fat Bass Challenge, so we can continue to grow both of our programs and offer something unique for the anglers in the state of Missouri to grow with and be proud of. Because our aspiration is to be like what Ralph had at Heartland back in the day, or to be equal to a Skeeter Bass Champs or a Texas Team Trail.
Yeah, like the Bass Champs is real big down there in Texas.
Yeah.
I used to watch them, because I think
they're still on television on the Pursuit Channel.
Are they still on there? I didn't know if they were or not.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get Heartland to because Heartland originally had a television show. Ralph had a. It was called Heartland on the Trails, and it was a great show, and that's what we want to get back to. We'll get there.
Yeah, and it's sad all that because we videoed and we've done all that stuff, and I think when Russ started it, it was like $1,200 for one guy to do one tournament. It's like, man, a tournament don't even make that much money, so
Sure.
Yeah, you got to have a passion for it.
We did a lot of videoing and free editing, but trying to get the guys to popular and things like that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. You got to have the passion for it, and that's why. Again, we get it from the tournament director side. We've been there. We know there's not a lot of money in it. It's a passion project.
Yep.
We appreciate what you're doing and excited to see your growth. And we're happy to to lean on each other and move forward and probably have you on a few more times this year.
Absolutely, anytime, guys. I'd love to come on and talk both sides of that and talk just what we're seeing on the manufacturer side. Like we talked about. There's things that we see from the lures side, the sales up and down. You see trends, and like Bait Cave. I help with Riley there, and we started talking about trends. That's how we came up with the Nebula before ICAST last year, and boom, the Fuzzy series came out, and everybody's selling fuzzy stuff, and it's been a great product. And there's all that stuff. Anytime you guys want to reach out, I'm always here to talk, and it's awesome being on the inside, seeing some of the manufacturing side and learning that. So
what's the new one? The big
Koi.
That's it. I can never. What is it?
Yeah.
Koi.
Yeah.
My boy said you can't get them right now.
You can find them around. Yamamoto unis are pretty hard to come by right now. There's some other manufacturers out there that have some koi style, urchin style baits out there.
Urchin.
There's some more, let's say, readily available. There'll be quite a few more coming here pretty quick.
Yeah, everybody will make one at some point.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's becoming so popular. I mean, guys reach out to me and ask me, how do you rig it? Well, you can kind of rig it anyway. You can run it with the Tokyo rig. You can run it with a wacky style rig. You can do it multiple different ways. But guys are hammering them on them. I mean,
no, that's going to be banned too.
Yep.
A-rig and Coix.
Yep.
And no pay some sonar either.
yeah, I mean, that's that. And you know, back to the whole beginning of that's the hard part. Like, what do you cut off and where do you cut off? And
Exactly.
I mean, again, all of it's a tool. So you kind of just have to go with what tools are out there and let the cards fall where they do. And most anglers are open to that. They love. I mean, the reason we all go fishing is trying to figure it all out. So.
They just need to put Jacob Wheeler, Kevin Van Dam, and Ike Anelli on all baits. If you want to sell crankbaits this month, you put all their names on it,
That's right.
all their faces on it.
And I can tell you from some history, and as you brought up Randy Blockett earlier, I know for a fact Randy would talk about certain colors and certain baits when he worked for certain lure shops around this state, let's say it that way, that if he needed to help promote or they had too many in stock of this one, he would talk about it on his podcast.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you know, he could talk about it. And I hate to sound that way, but every bait shop does that. You go into a local bait shop and they're like, what are you catching them on? Well, they've got an overstock of this color spinnerbait. We're catching them on chartreuse and white spinnerbaits.
Yeah.
The next thing they know, they're out of them. And they're like, oh, that kind of worked. So,
well, in tackle stores need to do, like, if it's spinnerbait season and they want to get rid of some, just take a bunch off the shelf and put like 2 on there, because I've done that many times going, oh, there's only 2 left, so they got to be on that.
I got to buy both of them. And that
Yep,
was
grab the both of them. I'm sure he comes right back, goes, puts 2 more on there.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Well, Kyle, we appreciate you.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for letting me come on here with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I'm always around. Usually a little less quiet or less hectic in this house because the wife's usually
All right.
No, you're
being a
good.
principal. But
Yeah.
So
Cool.
And when's your next tournament?
So our next team event is May 13th or 16th at Truman from 6 to 2 p.m. on Shawnee Bend, and then our next elite event is May 30th on Palm de Terre out of Hermitage State Park.
Now, you used to have them back to back, didn't you?
We did. So I can give you that quick rundown. Last year and the year before, we would run the team on Saturday and the elites on Sunday.
Yeah.
I had multiple guys reach out to me and say, hey, guys, we didn't catch them today, so we're not sticking around for the elite tomorrow. Which I can't say I blame a guy with the cost of gasoline, the cost of everything, entry fees, lures, all the stuff that you can mine at hotels. If you're not catching them, would you stick around for another day? So we're trying it out, and so far it has shown that the numbers did increase a little bit, and I think the next few will increase even more. As you alluded to with going to Bull Shoals, Table Rock, most of my trail so far the last several years have been up north. So most of the guys are looking at it as I'll leave Table Rock as my drop one, and then I'll pick up and do Truman, Palmy, and Lake the Ozarks out of the river.
Yeah.
So that way they're closer to home.
Have you thought of, I know we're going back and forth, no, OMTT has like a cutoff, well, you got to be paid by whatever, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they even had like a penalty. So if you're not paid by a certain day, you could still pay, but it's going to cost you a certain amount.
I've thought of like that, like how Randy has done that, where he cuts off at a certain time, or OMTT. Yep. I thought about that. The hard part is in today's world, and you guys know this, everybody knows this, life is so busy and things come up so often. I don't want to penalize a guy for not fishing. I don't want to say, hey, dude, you got to be here or you're just forfeiting your money. Because as me, as an angler, because not only am I a director, I still am an angler at heart and still angle. Like, if somebody told me, hey, you're going to lose your money because you're not here, like, that sucks, because you could, something could come up or things happen. You get a guy that he doesn't know. He's going to look and see what his weather's doing. He's going to look and see how maybe somebody in his house is feeling health-wise or anything like that. So I don't think I'll probably ever cut it off until we get to a point where I need to cut it off on size-wise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do like the still, hey, a guy shows up that morning and pays, because that's what mostly me growing up fishing. So I walked up to many Joe Bass tournaments and paid for my entry, or many Team Supreme, that dates me, team
Yeah.
Supreme tournaments and paid at there. And then, of course, Heartland, just same thing. Like I would walk up and pay Ralph and jump on in. So
I always like the Saturdays when you have 18 pounds. Like, I'm going to go in that tournament tomorrow. I got 18. Come in with about 4.
sure.
You're like, what the heck? I don't know how many times I've done that.
But that's what you don't want to discourage a guy on that. So that's
Right.
why I don't know that I'll probably walk away from or penalize guys. I don't mind them showing up, and it's a catch-22 because you get those guys that'll show up that are on them. And does that hurt your tournament? I don't know that it hurts. I think anytime that you can get exposure, just like we talked about between Fat Bass and Heartland, I think anytime you can get exposure is a good thing. And I think something that guys are finding out about our trail is when they show up, they see, hey, we have a release trailer. Not very many, outside of one other trail, nobody has their own release trailer like we do.
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
They show up, they see those things, they look at it, they're like, he's got a tournament trailer, he's got a release trailer, he's got, we have all the amenities that everybody else. And then you look at our live, if you watch our Facebook Live or YouTube Live weigh-ins, we have a live leaderboard that's right next to our weigh-in that you can actually see. If you're at home watching your loved one fish, you're like, oh, they're in first place or they're in 10th place or whatever. But that also gives it an opportunity. I've had many guys tell me why they're in the line getting their boat. They know if they can stick around to get a check or to go home, because all of us know on those hot days, and you're like, all I want to do is get the heck out of here because I'm hot and tired. I fished all day, and if I'm not getting a check, I want to get going.
Well, live is important because I know we used to, if our live didn't work because our camera was overheated, man, we got blasted.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
Sure.
why you got live? What's
But
going on?
that live leaderboard is really cool.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that I really worked on, coming from a background of like, okay, I'm a fisherman. What are the things that I wanted? Like, and me being a fan of fishing, I love being able to say, oh gosh, like Mike Iaconelli's in 5th place, I liked him. Or Gerald Swindle's in 3rd place. Oh, that's sweet. Being able to see my anglers up there going, okay, Greg Profit's in 1st today right now, and you can see that, and Shay's watching her husband do that, and the next thing you see is Troy Thomas go up there, and Troy falls above him, and then Shay knows Greg's in 2nd, and Troy's wife knows that Troy's in 1st, and you just see those guys go through it, and I think that helps viewership. I don't know, those are the little things that I think we do different at Heartland, and I think guys are learning that and seeing that between our higher paybacks, our incentives on the Bassmaster side, and obviously ICAST. And I think those are the things that are just people are learning about.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else. You want to give any shout outs to any sponsors, anything like that?
Well, we have a lot of great sponsors. We're very lucky. Shoreline Fiberglass has been our title sponsor the last 3 years. Midwest Archery, which, as we talked about, they, being a hunting and fishing rep, they jumped on board this year. They're giving out Rambo bikes for our championship. Venture Outdoors has gave out kayaks the last few years for our championship. They're going to give them out as well.
Cool.
So we have, Ventures gave us kayaks. We've got Rambo bikes from Midwest Archery. And then, GSM has been a great sponsor. Bait Cave Customs has been our big bass sponsor for years now as well, the 3 years. And, without just those guys alone, it changes the way we do this. We're very blessed for sponsorships, and honestly, we're very blessed that the anglers are continually showing up, and we have a great group of anglers. You look at standings sometimes, you're like, gosh, I forget this guy fished with us, and like how good of a stick he is in the state. So we're very blessed on that side.
Well, good. We appreciate it, Kyle.
Yeah.
Good information.
Yeah, this is solid. We'll here. Let me